stuck to the plan. Always said that we would stand up, never ran. We the fam and loyalty never change up. Been down since day one, look at where we came from. Jumping out on anybody who try to say something. One thing about it, got a problem, I got the same one. Money rolls, we fold. Plenty clubs, we close. Follow the same code. Never turn our backs, our cars don't even lose control.
Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to episode number 20 of the Associated Wrestling Press's College Wrestling Review. I'll be your host, Eric Lonowski, and today I'm running it solo, like way back to episode 1. So 20, we're kind of just going over. I want to talk about the most important duel in the aspect of the whole sport of wrestling. I think this was a great sport, or a great showing for our sport, and two heavyweights of the wrestling world in Iowa and Penn State meeting at the Bryce Jordan Center on the campus of Penn State University. So let's just jump into the 125-pound match, Gilman versus Conway. Here is where they decided to start off, and it was as exciting as a starting match could have been. And it was basically all Gilman the first two periods until Conway decided, hey, I can stick with this guy. I can get into this match. All I have to do is get to my offense. So in the third period, going into the third period, 3-0, Gilman's leading with a takedown and an escape in the second. So going into the third period, Conway gets the escape, swings single right in on a shot, gets a takedown, ties it 3-3. This is where it starts getting crazy. So Gilman gets the escape. Conway gets another takedown. So he takes a 5-4 lead. And Gilman had already locked up the riding time. I think he had upwards of 2 minutes of riding time. So now this is where you see Conway get on his high horse and continue to push the pressure. Continue to get that takedown. Look for that takedown. What's his go-to takedown? And what ended up being the key to this match was Gilman's ability to ride on top. I think his ability to ride on top is what makes him a promising prospect to be a national title contender. I don't necessarily know if he can win the national title, but I think he can contend for the national title because that area in general, him being so tough on top is going to take that 1 point away. Not only is it going to take the point away in the second or third for the escape, it could potentially get the riding time point as well as just take the energy. I think that's the most thing. Taking the energy out of your opponent just with that tough ride, and he does that. Big lifts, and it just showed in this match. That was the key. He ends up winning 6-5 to take a 3-0 lead for the Hawks. And the next match, if you haven't watched this match, you had number 7, Jimmy Gulibon versus number 3, Corey Clark. Corey Clark has wrestled top-ranked opponents, just hasn't been able to get those key marquee wins that you need. And I'm not saying that matters now, but only for a confidence factor later on in the season, in the postseason. It's going to be huge for him to get those wins. Look back and say, hey, I already beat them. I know what I'm capable of. I just have to go out there and wrestle my match. So the thing with it is he ends up coming out 2-on-1, low single, gets the takedown, goes up 2-0. Gulibon wins the escape, 2-1. Clark, what I liked about this match is Clark gets right back in on a swing single right after Gulibon's takedown. So Clark, if Clark just sits there, then it lets Gulibon catch his breath, get back in on the match. But it wasn't like that. He ends up not getting that takedown. So that swing single was, just Gulibon did a great job fighting it off. So Clark gets the escape in the second, 3-1. Gulibon right in on a swing single. Beautiful takedown. 2 points. That ties it 3-3. And that was in the last 10 seconds of the second period. So that, I think, is what kind of got Gulibon going. Once he got that takedown, he said, hey, the pressure's off. I'm here to wrestle. This is where it gets interesting. The third period, Gulibon already has one caution. Start of the third period, he goes down, boom, gets dinged, another caution, 2 cautions. And this is what you can't do. You can't give up free points. If you're going to want to win a national title, you best believe that you're not going to be able to do it giving up 3 cautions. Gulibon gives up a third caution, and they went back and forth on the cautions. And I don't think it was a ref's decision. I don't think it was his fault. These were actual cautions. So Gulibon has to do a better job of just staying composure and keeping his composure, staying on top of the things that he can control. He can control when he does and when he doesn't jump the gun. I think that was huge right there. That puts Corey Clark up 4-3. Now, at this point in the match, Corey Clark has 1 minute and 16 seconds of riding time, 0 stall calls, 4-3 before Gulibon gets the escape. So we'll just jump there. Gulibon gets the escape, 4-4. Now, if you're Corey Clark, 1 minute and 16 seconds, what does that say to you? That says, hey, I have 1 point locked up. So this is going to be 5-4. What I'm doing, I have 0 stall calls. Yes, the Iowa way is to stay on the attack. Could he have done that? Absolutely. He didn't choose to do that. What he chose to do is stay in there and continue to wrestle, hand fight with Gulibon. Gulibon gets a huge body lock, locks his hands, and arches his back, gets 2 for the takedown, 2 for the near fall, ends up winning 8-5 because Corey Clark had the riding time. So it was 4-4. Corey Clark keeps the riding time, so he gets the 5th point. Gulibon, 2 takedown, 2 near fall. Boom. So that ties the duel 3-3. Next up, Josh Jeva and Cade Moss. Jeva just does, how many people expected Cade Moss to come out here and beat Jeva? Jeva just stays on the attack. Absolutely looked great. I think just his confidence on his feet is only gaining throughout the year. You've seen in a couple of matches, hand fighting is great. He hand fights, but as you can say that for every Iowa wrestler, they hand fight, but do they get to their attacks? That's what the Brands brothers want to see. Yes, you can hand fight, but can you get to attacks? Can you finish those crucial shots? You need 1 takedown to win a national title. What is that going to be? Josh Jeva showed that he has the composure, he has the conditioning to take things deep into the third period. It's just that, what's his go-to takedown? How is he going to get that 1 takedown? So that puts it 9-4. The duel is then 6-3. And next up, Sorensen and Bites. Sorensen on an absolute tear. He's just running through everybody. He has confidence in every aspect of his wrestling right now, top, bottom, and neutral. The thing with him is he's beat those top-tier guys. So now he just has to continue to go out there and not be afraid of what could happen, and just let it play out. Just go out there and wrestle his match. I think he's in a perfect position to win a national title. I think his confidence is at the correct level. I think he's doing everything right, and the Brands brothers speak on that. He's just in the room every day. When he's not supposed to, he's in the room. It's impressive to see him grow, and that's what we've saw throughout the year, is him just continuing to step to that level. I don't think he's wrestling his best yet. I think the best from Sorensen is still to come. Now, Zach Bites, on the other hand, he comes out in the first period, hits a beautiful ankle pick. The thing with this is that's all he tried to do the rest of the match. Yes, a wrestler like Sorensen is going to catch on to what you do. If you come out and you swing single me 3 times, that 4th time, I'm going to fight it off. I know what I have to do to fight that swing single off. I know it's coming. So, Sorensen is able to fight off the rest of the ankle picks. And another thing with Bites, if you get on a swing single, this is to all the wrestlers out there that are going to wrestle Bites. You get on a swing single, don't let him whizzer you, because when he gets to that whizzer, all he's going to try and do is hit that roll through. He hit it on Alex Pantelio in the University of Michigan match, ended up winning. He didn't hit it on Sorensen, but that's the type of wrestler that you're not going to be able, that next tier level. So he hits it on Pantelio, and I'm not saying that he's a lesser wrestler, but you have to be aware of that. Sorensen ends up winning. Moving on to 57, Luke Fry. Dylan Alton doesn't wrestle, so it would have been Mike Kelly and Dylan Alton. Nothing too exciting here. Kelly wins 7-4. This puts Iowa ahead 12-3. That's 4 out of the 5 matches that they won in the beginning of the duel. So we head to the intermission. Next up, when we come back from intermission, is 65, Nick Moore and Garrett Hammond. And this is what you want to see out of Penn State. The unranked guys doing what they're not supposed to do. And out of Iowa, this Nick Moore, Coach Brands held him out because he wanted to show him that it's not a right. You don't just belong in there because you wrestle good in practice. You need to earn this spot. You need to go out there and you need to perform not just against, subpar kids, next tier level. Where I keep saying it, but you need to go out there and you need to continue to wrestle and get better on your offense and push the offense every single match. Did he do that against Hammond? No, he let Hammond control the mat space, which was very important. Every time Nick Moore got in a shot, Hammond knew exactly where he was. Scoot to the out-of-bounds line, get out. It's just what proved to be the determining factor in this match is Hammond's toughness, his grittiness. Nick Moore didn't show it, and that's not what you hear, or that's not what you see a lot out of these Iowa wrestlers, but he didn't do it. But Garrett Hammond, whatever Coach Sanderson said in the intermission, absolutely worked, because Garrett Hammond comes out, gets the 4-2 win. So that moves the duel to 12-6. This is where you start to feel that Penn State is picking up momentum. Up next, Mike Evans, Matt Brown, ranked 2 and 3, depending on which, we'll call it 2 and 3, depending on what you look at. Nothing here out of Mike Evans. Nothing. I mean, there was not one point in this match where I said to myself, hey, Mike Evans is going to win this match. There's zero. And I'm sure if you watched it, you would have felt the same way. That's just how the match went. Brown wins 2-0, and it's just an impressive 2-0 victory. 2-0 you don't hear a lot, but he rode out in the third period. Evans selects the down position. If you're going to select that down position in the third period, you need to get out, especially in a 1-0 match. Ends up getting the riding time, and that takes the duel to 12-9. And like I said before, if Penn State wasn't picking up momentum after the 65-pound match, they picked up momentum after that. Brooks and McCutcheon, Brooks just showed that it was just too much for him. Iowa moves up 15-9. Brooks gets the win 7-1, 3 takedowns and an escape. McCutcheon an escape, nothing really to it. Just wasn't too competitive in this match. That moves it to 15-9. And so Morgan McIntosh and Nathan Burek come up next. And you think Burek's ranked 4, McIntosh is 6. This is going to be a match of the duel. One of the matches of the duel, and it absolutely was. Only because this is where Penn State has the opportunity. So you say it's going to be a 1-point, 2-point match. It wasn't, okay? I'll just tell you now. McIntosh picks up the 7-1 victory. Comes out in the first, gets a takedown, rides Burek out. In the second, gets a reversal. From the reversal, goes right to a cheap tilt, bar arm tilt, anything you want to call it. Either way, gets the 2-point for the reversal, 2-point for the near fall, 6-0. And now he's building riding time. So you feel that 7th point is already locked up. Now what does he have to do? He cuts Burek in order to go for the major decision. And keep in mind, it's 15-9. If he gets that major decision and somehow Jimmy Lawson comes out, and pulls the upset, then we wouldn't have to go to criteria. So that doesn't happen. He doesn't get the major like he would have liked, but he does get the 3 points, and that brings the duel to 15-12. So it would have been 15-13, and then Jimmy Lawson would have had an opportunity to make it 16-15 for the Penn State win. But Bobby Telford just nails. I think if there's one guy you're looking to rely on this Hawkeye squad, it has to be Bobby Telford. He's wrestling at his pace. What the coaches want to see, he's wrestling at his pace. He's not letting anybody else dictate the pace of his match. He's dictating each pace, and his wrestling on top is it's just impressive. He's doing a great job. Jimmy Lawson didn't threaten him once in this match. Maybe, in 10 seconds left, you saw him take a shot, but nothing out of there. So he wins 3-0, ends up getting the riding time and the takedown. So that's 3-0, 18-12 the final score. It just was the Hawkeyes on top. I think the Hawkeyes on top just proved to be too much for these Penn State Nittany Lions. If Penn State's going to want to be more successful, they have to work on their bottom. The mat wrestling is going to be crucial at the NCAA tournament. Well, Big Ten and NCAA tournament. So Penn State wins. Jumping ship for the Minnesota and Ohio State duel on the BTN Plus. 22-12. Ohio State knocks them off. You get big wins. I'm drawing a blank here. What am I trying to say? Schiller loses to Snyder is what I was trying to say. Excuse me. And the question I want to start asking you guys one question every podcast is, if you watch the match with Dardanes and Stieber looked like he ran out of gas towards the end of the third period, or at the end of the third period, last 30 seconds, I would say. Dardanes gets 2 takedowns. If anyone's going to beat Logan Stieber, who's it going to be? So that'll be our question for episode 20. We'll specifically say, does Dardanes have the capability of beating Logan Stieber, or if not, who can beat Logan Stieber? That's been it for episode number 20 of the Associated Wrestling Press's College Wrestling Review. I'm Eric Olenowski. If you have any questions, please send them to collegewrestlingreview@gmail.com. You can follow me on Twitter @EZE_shownuff, or you can follow the Associated Wrestling Press @WrestlingPress on Twitter. Make sure you check out our weekly rankings done by JJ Johnson. He does a great job on the rankings, so make sure you check those out. And that's been it. Thank you very much.